You're very welcome. Jill, thank you for that amazing introduction. After you introduce me, I'm always afraid to actually follow the person you introduced. It's wonderful to see some old faces and some new faces who will hopefully become new friends. So welcome to the summit. As you know, our theme today is Blazing the Trail, Igniting Your Leadership Task. Now, I must just tell you, coming up with a theme every year is a challenge. And we usually do this in the October before the following June. Last October, the program committee and I decided that the place where we should discuss the weighty matter of this theme was the bar at the Radisson. So after much back and forth, inspired by the Holy Spirit, we came up with this theme. And everyone was delighted and enthralled and invigorated. And then, after clinking of glasses, came the next question: who would be the keynote speaker? Now, of course, that is always a big challenge. And invariably, famous names get thrown out. Ellen DeGeneres. Well, I'm for Ellen DeGeneres, but because of her fee, you would each have to pay about $1,000. And I wasn't going to risk that one. So another favorite was Tina Fey. But Tina Fey's up there too, so you would probably have to pay $600. So anyhow, we decided we threw around names and clinked more glasses and then decided to abandon our discussion. Now, I must tell you a story. Some of you might know that I come from South Africa, the most beautiful country in the world. And when I was at school, as a young girl, I would have to wait in the afternoon to get a ride home. So I was one of those people that hung around school, because my parents were both working, and they were working far away from where the school was. So I would hang around school, and my parents paid for tennis lessons, and they paid for swimming, and the other days I would have to sort of entertain myself. Now, I'm really rather creative, and so I would hang around the art class and beg for a few crayons so that I could paint. But one day I realized there were these strange people crawling around the grounds. Some were dressed in brown, and some were dressed in blue. And they had wonderful uniforms. And I thought, gosh, I would love to have a uniform. And they blew whistles, and they did jumping jacks, and they lit fires. And I said, you know what? I want to be one of those girls. So I went home and I pleaded with my parents. I said, please, please, can I be one of those scouts or brownies or whatever we used to call them? And my parents said, no, you know, we can't really afford the uniform and so on. And sorry. So dejected, I thought, well, you know, really my parents are right. These are a bunch of turncoats. These little whining, jumping jack types, blowing whistles. So warfare was declared. So when they came and they were lighting their fires, I would hide their matches or weapons. And when I saw the tent pegs and they were doing something else, I pulled out the tent pegs and buried them in the soil. And whenever I had a chance, I would, you know, confuse the ropes and the tents and the wigwams so that they would collapse. And I enjoyed myself tremendously. And I watched them, you know, as they whined and went back to the scout mistress and said, oh, we can't find our matches, whatever it was. And I said, you see, much better being where I am. Now, one particular Monday morning, as I was sitting at my desk at school, and I was turned round, and there was a little boy called David who sat behind me. And David had a terrible habit of continuously sniffing. Have you ever had a David who was continuously sniffing and wiping his nose on his sleeve? Now, my parents taught me, you don't sniff, you don't wipe your nose on your sleeve, and you use a tissue. So David was forever sitting behind me sniffing. And I had a large 18-inch ruler, and I would turn around and whack him on the head. And this was disciplining David. Now, I always say, leadership starts at a young age. And I wonder how many of you had the experience of disciplining David at 8. So he would sniff, and he'd get a whack, and he'd sniff some more, and he'd get another whack, and I was having a great time whacking David. And the teacher had snuck out of the room for a cigarette. And all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, came the principal's voice. Will Annabel Birrell please come down to the principal's office? And I thought, oh heck, can't he see I'm busy? What do they want from me this time? So I went down to the principal's office. And of course, what made this a little bit more difficult this time is that my mother was there. And my mother always traveled everywhere with a large golf umbrella. And this large golf umbrella was used for a variety of matters. Some to support me when I was, swimming or doing whatever. But at other times, it could be rather a weapon of mass destruction. However, I was forced by my mother and the principal to crawl around the grounds and dig amongst the worms and re-dig up the pegs and the whistles and all the things that I'd hidden the last Friday. So I cannot believe that today, our keynote speaker is one of those nasty little whiners. I'm glad she's not here. Please do not give me away. So back to our theme, blazing the trail. Blazing the trail. I wonder what comes up for you when you think of blazing the trail. What comes up for you about yourself? What comes up for you about other people? What does it mean to blaze the trail? And then the question is, what trail? When? How? Why? What's the purpose? For whose benefit? And then, is it going to be a blazing trail of great, dramatic movement, dynamism, a lot of fame, a lot of success? Or will it be a subtle, profound, sensitive, compassionate trail? What trail? What trail comes up for you? And today is an opportunity for us all to reflect on the kind of trail that we are blazing. Because we are all blazing a trail. And I would like to suggest to you that blazing a trail means acting in the world as a beautiful expression of yourself. Acting in the world as a beautiful expression of yourself. Now we could ask, what does that mean, to act as a beautiful expression of yourself? Some of you might recall the wonderful book by Khalil Gibran called The Prophet. And to remind you, the story of the prophet is of a prophet, a man, who's on an island. And the island is called Orphalese. And for 12 years he's there, and he's kind of isolated. He's alone. And people know there's something special about him, but they're not quite sure how to engage with him. And one day, after 12 years, every day he's been sailing and looking out at the sea and hoping that his ship will come to take him home. And one day he sees the ship and his heart fills with delight. And he starts walking towards the quay. And the seeress in the town of Orphalese, Almitra, she who is one of the few people who recognizes the special man in their midst, is very sad. And quite amazingly, all of the people drop what they're doing in their fields, in their houses, in their shops, whatever, and they all go down to the quay. Isn't that something that sometimes happens to us? We have something beautiful and precious right under our eyes, and it's only when it's going on that we realize what we've missed. And so the people converge on the quay, and they say to Al-Mustafa, who is the prophet, they say, before you leave us, please give us some pearls of your wisdom. And so they ask him, talk to us about love. Talk to us about marriage. Talk to us about children. Talk to us about home and houses. And one poet says to Al-Mustafa, talk to us about beauty. And Al-Mustafa says, well, people have very different conceptions of beauty. Some people say beauty is about gentleness, others about softness. Some people say beauty is the sunrise. Some people say it's the sunset. Some people say beauty is dynamic performance. Other people say beauty is about gentleness, quietness. But he says, beauty is not an unmet need. Beauty is an ecstasy. Beauty is a heart inflamed and a soul enchanted. And he goes on to say, people of Orphalese, beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. And you are life, and you are the veil. And beauty is eternity gazing at itself in the mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror. So if we think about that, acting in the world is a beautiful expression of ourselves. What is beauty? Beauty is an ecstasy, a rapturous delight. Beauty is a heart inflamed, a heart full of purpose and meaning and passion. Beauty is a soul enchanted. Beauty is about being moved and desire. Beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. Beauty is all that we are without the veil of our pretensions and our illusions and our fears. Beauty is eternity gazing in a mirror. What is eternity? Something we talk about that is endless, that's permanent, that's enduring. That's us. And all we have to do is look at the reflection. So maybe today we can think about, every day we can look and ask ourselves, how am I acting in the world as a beautiful expression of myself? Because that's all it takes to be a remarkable woman and to blaze that way. And so, my friends, today we have some wonderful speakers who are here to guide, inspire, remind, help you think about your life, the veil, your talents that you can express in the authentic fullness of who you are. That's all you have to do. And so we will have discussions about stress, and about courage, and about presence, and about presentation, and about how to deal with difficult things, and how to, what kind of, education might help us, how to build a culture where the organization evokes the beautiful expression. These are many of the things that you will be able to enjoy today and help you think about, more consciously, about acting in the world as a beautiful expression of yourselves. In closing, I thought I might just leave you a few words of another very well-known poet. You may have heard of him. His name is Rudyard Kipling. And he has some very interesting ideas to give us about how we can blaze the trail in another way. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all others doubt you, but make allowance for that doubting too. If you can wait and not grow tired of waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. Yet, don't look too good or act too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think but not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by names to make a trap for fools, or watch and see the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out truths. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it at one pitch of turn and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about yours. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve you long after they've gone, And so hold on when that's all that's in you is the will that says, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, and walk with queens, nor lose the common touch. If neither foe nor loving friend can hurt you, if all people count with you, none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run to the edge, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a remarkable You waiting for more? So everyone, I hope you have a very wonderful day, as Gail mentioned to you. I know we are just about on time. This is your guide for today, and there were many volunteers that we can get to help you. So I will see you again.